Hello and welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to continue the topic of OOP programming or object-oriented programming. In the previous video we kind of went through objects and starting to define little attributes that would kind of make up an object and help us to define or to create an object. Alright, in this video we're actually going to make them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come over here to our projects file, and we're going to just drop down the learning Java. We're gonna, if this was all closed to you, okay, go to the source packages, open up your learning Java packages, and then just right click on the learning Java name or the package here, and then just say new Java class. All right, the very first one we'll create is our first one here, which is our person. Okay, and we'll now take that and we'll just say person. All right, and we'll now push finish. It's a good idea to make sure it's an uppercase letter for the very first letter of your class names. Okay, if it's more than one or if you camel case it, then just be sure to make sure it's an uppercase letter, and we'll just go with, we'll finish that off. Okay, now yours might look a little different. I've done templating where this is wrong. Should be description. I did templating to build this up. I generally do that on every file just so it's easy for me to add stuff in. I'll just call this the person object. Fairly easy to do. And then I would normally fill this all in first. It gives me a better idea what's going on. We kind of talked about this before, commenting and keeping good records of what you're using each of these for. You could even have like a header up here for all your copyright notice in case somebody gets a hold of your files. They can call you if they need to. So now we've created our first object. All right, we've not essentially created our first object, we've created our first class or our first file in which our new person object will start to form. Okay, we're going to do this one at a time. I'm going to make a video for every one of them, so hopefully by that point you're going to build them up. I'm going to build them all together and you have enough understanding by that point. Okay, so we went through, we got all these attributes that make up a person. We can simply take all these, we can Control C, put them over here and drag them and put them in here, and now we have our attributes all ready to go. Now that's easy enough. They're all ready to go now. We now know what it takes to make up a person, and we don't need these default values because that's not the point of this. This is going to be used over and over to make up many different people using the same file. If we have a group of people, it's just single object people, so there's single objects that form a group, right? So several people, several different objects are forming in a group. That means a group of people. So essentially it's a single object person just multiple times over. So now again, we went in, we created this class file. When you think about this whole class thing, don't get all worried about it. A class is basically a Java file, and it's the way it kind of knows what's going on. It's also pertaining to your object. So you use a class person, that's your object. Each of these variables now in here that we've created are our attributes. Okay, so these are our attributes that make up our person. So, and you can definitely comment on each line just so that you know the use of each of these for yourself. Name, first name of a person, where it's used, how it's used. Okay, you can go down the list and just keep doing this. Second name. Okay, and you can do that if you would like. It's better. It's actually good if you do that. But keep it brief and keep it nice. Keep them fairly low, low key. But for this, I'm not going to do that right now. If you'd like to, you can definitely do so. So we have our attributes. We have technically kind of created our object. Okay, this is really the basis of an object. These are kind of the object's name, the It's the overall name of it. It's a person, and we've now created our object attributes. Our object is technically created, okay? But now we need different ways in order for us to actually work with it, to use it. Okay, and there's a couple things that need to be done here. Now, the attributes are the variables that are named inside of it. And when we want to use stuff in it, we have to use methods. Okay, and we've learned all about methods. We've learned passing in values. We've learned about returning values. We've learned about all sorts of ways we can use methods. Now, in this form, inside of an object, there is 4 technical types of methods, okay? The first one that you're going to see is called the constructor. All right? Now, this is basically a fancy way of saying the method that creates an object, a method that allows us to make an object usable, if you will. Okay, so it's just a way to create the object. All right, this will become more apparent to you later on when we actually create one, when we actually start working with them, when we actually use them. Okay, now the second method types that, or the second type of method that you're going to get is called an accessor method. All right, now I'm going to put these, so you got these accessor methods. Okay, accessor methods. Now there's generally going to be more than one, because now accessors, what they're doing is they're actually a link in order for us to change values inside of these variables or these attributes that we created. Or sorry, wait, very bad. An accessor is allowing you to access and see and pass back or use these values, okay, that are saved inside of our attributes. That is what the use of an accessor would be, okay? The next type that we have available is called a mutator. Mutator methods, okay? And a mutator method is exactly what I said last time. It is to change these values up here, okay? It's to actually work with them, to change them. Now, sometimes you don't need this. Sometimes you don't need a way to change them. Sometimes it's just a way for, you know, if you don't need these values changed, sometimes you make an object and there's certain values that just do not need changing, then you may not need to make a mutator for this. Now, generally, accessors and mutators are going to be created for every type of attribute you have, depending on whether or not you need to access it or you need to mutate or change it. So okay, so these are methods to change our attributes, and these are methods to view or use values, or maybe see attributes. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Now these are, I'm just generalizing here. And then the very last one that we're going to talk about, and they're not really, there's more than this essentially, but we have behaviors, okay? I don't even know if I wrote that right. Behaviors, okay, whatever. So these would just be general types. These would be all the other ones that kind of are allowed to, the way it acts, the way that you would like for this object to interact inside of your program. Okay, so there's the different, very, very different behaviors for every type of thing. So these can be things as simple as, you know, printing it out and how you would like to display it as a printed form. This could be how you do math on certain things. You know, this could be showing the BMI of this certain person if you so chose. It could be showing the birth date and 10 years of this person. It's different behaviors and the way that you'd like for this to interact. Okay, so we're going to start talking about each one of these methods and how we can actually get started to create we can finish creating this object so that we can actually implement it and start using it inside of our actual program. Okay, we could go and continue on to, it's not really hard to do at this point. If you really wanted to, we can just, you know, create a new Java class. We got all these things already. We can say cell phone. This will be our cell phone object. We have it there now, ready to go. Scroll this up. We take all this stuff right here, and we just copy and paste it over. And if you really want to, it doesn't matter. We can then just go, you know, we can create a string for the maker, or geez, I don't think that's right. Oh, menu, there we go. Manufacturer. Yeah, whatever. The maker, manufacturer. Okay. Model. And you can keep going. You can have you know, storage capabilities. You can get into memory capabilities. You can get into whatever you want to go with. Okay, so we created even more with the cell phone. So we'll close that one now. And we got that one done. We can go into here, we can create car. We'll go to new, Java class, call this just our car. This is a car object, okay? And now we're coming through. So now we can start making an object of a car. And now we can start with string, and we can use the same one there because it doesn't matter. It's in a different file now. We got now what? Name, model. Right, we got and you can get very in detail to what you wish if you would like to continue to create this one as well. Okay, and we got this guy here. I don't really want to endorse anything to do with these, but we will make one. We'll just say oh, I want to make a new Java class, and how about we just say character, and if you want to call it your Pokemon, you go ahead, but we're just going to say character. Alright, we'll call it character, and we know our character now has different attributes. We can say string, character's got a name, string's got, oh wow, what's going on? Name, he's got string of whatever his type. We can go with a double for his health. We can go with a string for an attack. Go for a string on defense. His special ability. And say whatever, it don't matter. We can go with another double on. Stuff like that, alright? So, neither here nor there. It doesn't really matter. You can add as many things as you think that a character could have when it comes down to it. An image, there could be the model, whatever. It gets pretty robust from here. You can start seeing that we can create some things pretty quickly, and we can start using them inside of our programs. Now, we can't technically use these yet because, again, we haven't really finished them, but primarily we're working on the person one, and we're going to look at what it, you know, how to create a person. We're going to look at constructors, accessors, mutators, and then finally the different behaviors that we can program into each. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions or ideas for future, put it in the comment section below. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, that'd be great, and check out the rest of the videos. Catch you in the next video.